All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Oofta Premium. I'm your host and Uncle Darren Walters, and it's great to have you here on the show. And in this particular video segment, we're going to talk about a new feature that I came up with, which is harvest stacks and a new action called the raise action. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to discuss three-dimensionality, right? Many games are in two dimensions, right? Because you can score, at least in UFTA, you can score with 2, 3, 4, or 5 crop combos, right? And you do that by scoring in the farmer's market. You've got carrots and spinach adjacent to each other, and corn and cucumbers adjacent to each other. And that adjacency, if that's even a word, allows you to create crop combos in the X and Y coordinates, right? And so beyond that, there's nowhere to go but up, right? So that's what we're doing here. A harvest stack is basically just a stack of crops that are occupying the same spot in the market. So if we start here, we got carrots in the 11th spot. Let's say we put spinach over the top of that. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is a person could harvest spinach in their own field, right? And the reason, of course, it would have to be spinach is because the anchor crop, that's what we're calling this anyway, the anchor crop has got to be planted correctly in its field, okay? Or, I'm sorry. Well, it depends on the circumstances, right? Because there's two options for scoring. There's a dirty stack harvest and a clean stack harvest, okay? And so distinguishing between the two is not something I'm quite concrete about, but I will be shortly. So anyway, the idea is we've got our stack over here. We've got one crop, and the idea is if you happen to grow spinach as your anchor crop, that corresponds with the top crop that's in the market, okay? And so let's say I go out here. Now, notice that I don't have to plant it on the correct field. In order to get a dirty stack, I merely need to plant the spinach somewhere in the field and then bring it to harvest. So when it comes time to harvest my anchor crop, what's going to happen is I'm going to be able to score everything that's below that crop at the same base value as the anchor crop. Okay, so in this case, here's the example. I've got the anchor crop. It's not planted on the right field, but if it were, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But we'll just go ahead and harvest. We got spinach. We go up here to the market and we say, okay, actually, since I have spinach in two spots, another aspect of gameplay comes up, which is a two-crop combo, right? But first we resolve the stack. And the stack shows that, okay, I've matched the spinach with the spinach, and so I get credit for not only the anchor crop, okay, which I have on the farm, and that's actually represented by this spinach in the 5 spot. But I also have this spinach and the carrots below it, okay? So the idea is the carrots will score the same as the spinach, and it's all in the 5 spot, okay? Now, it's not in the 11 spot, because in this particular example, I have my anchor crop as spinach, and it's represented over here by a regular market crop. So we're going to change the example. Let's say we had radishes. Okay, so now what we have is we have our spinach, we have an anchor crop, okay, but it's on the 11th spot, right? And so now when we go to harvest, we're going to calculate all the crops that are in the 11th spot in the market, and we're going to add them up together to get a lump sum. Okay, so in this case, I have spinach, the anchor crop. I've got spinach is 11, and then I have carrots, which is also 11. Okay. All right, so that takes care of a dirty harvest. What about a clean harvest stack? Okay, so a clean harvest stack is another circumstance where basically what we've done is we've created a sandwich. And so by a sandwich, I mean what you have is, let's say you have carrots on the bottom. You have one crop on the bottom, then you have several crops in the middle. I should state at this point that there's no limit to the amount of crops you can place in a stack. Right? You could have as many crops as you could possibly want, building up throughout the game over time, and then you come to harvest it later. So long as you have that anchor crop, right? That's kind of a key, important, critical deciding factor. Okay, so here we have a clean stack harvest because I've got carrots. It's called a sandwich because I have carrots on the top crop and I have carrots on the bottom. Okay. Okay, so within that sandwich, what's going to happen is it's going to be scored. Remember, I also have to have a base crop of carrots to match. So that involves 3 crops, right? 3 of the same type. Anyway, if I come to harvest with my anchor crop, it turns out I'm going to be able to score a clean harvest stack, and that is actually worth not the base value for each crop, but in fact it's going to be the base value multiplied by the number of crops that are represented on the space in the market. So in this case, I would take my base value, which is going to be my anchor crop plus bonuses. Don't forget, if that UFTA is involved or other bonuses, the 3-point bonuses, that's going to be included first, right? So let's say I'm UFTAing on carrots. Okay, so I would get the UFTA amount, 7 tokens added to my base value. So in fact, it would be 18 points. And then it would be 18 points times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crops I happen to have here. Okay, so you can begin to get a sense of, well, first of all, why would I want to do this in the first place, right? Well, what it does when you stack a crop in the market, okay, you stack the crop, what's going to happen is you're not cultivating the crop, you're not harvesting the crop. Even though it's an action, you know, to initialize all this stuff, it's an action to actually start, use the, it's called a raise action. And that's going to be in addition to the return, remove, reveal, reverse, and raid. Then we're going to tack on the the raise action at the very last, the 6th action. Yeah, and so what we're going to do is it's going to be, in this particular case, we've got a sandwich. So we've got the anchor crop that matches the top crop, which also matches the bottom crop, which means it's a clean stack, a clean harvest stack, and it means we're actually going to multiply, like I said, by all of the crops that are involved in the stack times the base value of that crop, that space in the market. Okay, so in this case, yeah, it'd be 18 times 5 or 6, I think it was. Okay, so you can see how score is just going to be exponential if you carry out this method. Now, let's also talk about what if it's part of a 2 or 3 or 4 crop combo, right? Well, in that case, the scoring won't be quite as exponential because what's going to happen is when you're part of a crop combo, you can decide which you would rather take, okay? But you're not going to be able to take both. What's going to happen is if you decide, let's say we have corn, carrots, and radishes. Let's say we'll build up this example here. We've got corn, we've got carrots. And we've got radishes, okay? So we got corn, carrots, and radishes. We have to make a choice. Do we, in fact, want to take the 3-crop combo? In which case, you would only take the base value of the bottom crop, which is carrots 11. And you would take that 11 plus the corn plus the radishes and multiply by 3, okay? You would get the value of the stacked items, but you wouldn't multiply them, okay? So let's say you have, let's call this a dirty harvest, right? We don't have everything matched up. We don't have the right crop on the top space, and so instead we would only get the base value of all the crops in the stack. And then, before that, let's say we would add up the harvest amounts for each value in the market of the 3-crop combo. So you do the 3-crop combo first. Let's say it's 12 and 11. That's 23 and 5, 28. 28 we would multiply by 3, and we would get that sum first. Then we would go back and we would look at the stack, and we'd say, okay, let's go ahead and add up the value of each item, and we're going to tack that on to our crop combo, okay? So notice how that works. The only way that you can do both, however, is if you have a clean harvest stack combined with a crop combo that also combines with an UFTA. You have to score an UFTA with that anchor crop, okay? And so that's how that's going to play out. All right, so let's say, and by the way, in order to do this, of course, to get the UFTA, you got to make sure that the anchor crop is planted on the right field that corresponds with the carrots in the field, okay? So that's an important key consideration. Anyway, that takes us to the difference between dirty stacks and harvest and clean stacks, okay? So, what we're going to say is, in this case, we've got a dirty stack. We have to decide. I'm sorry. We have a sandwich because the carrot is not on the right spot. So for the sandwich, we can either take that amount that's stacked, and we'll multiply it by the number of elements in the stack, or we can take the 3-crop combo, multiply it by its factor, whatever it is, 3, 4, 5, however many elements you have in the combo, and you can score that way. And then you would tack on those individual crop values that are in the stack. So, like, just for another example, if we had corn, carrots, and radishes just like we have configured here, I might say, let's go ahead and take the corn, carrots, radishes at face value, do that first. 23 and 5, 28. I'll multiply that by 3, 84. I think it's 84. And then anyway, what we'll do is we'll take the single stacks, okay, and we notice it's a sandwich. Okay, so with the sandwich, we've got carrots at the 11th spot times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crops. That's 55 tokens. Okay, so it would be 55 times the amount of crops in the market. So anyway, you can kind of tell I'm hesitating a little bit because I'm not sure I've quite got all the details worked out. but we are at least going to have dirty harvest stacks, clean harvest stacks, an anchor crop. We're going to have an UFTA opportunity, and we can mix and match our multi-crop combos with our harvest stacks to come up with a pretty impressive score. Okay? All right, so I hope that makes sense. Even if it doesn't, I'll probably be back with another video to explain ourselves further. But this is a whole new dynamic scoring system for UFTA, and it's a very late addition to the game, and one I'm proud to say I didn't think I would think of while I'm still alive. I thought this would be something future generations could work on after I'm gone. So to that end, I guess I'm pretty happy. By the way, feel free to leave any comments or suggestions below the video. And until I see you then, keep on playing UFTA with your family and friends, because quality time with them is what it's all about. All right, take care, everybody.